Oh, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things, we have many stuff and things to talk about, including upcoming videos, things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays. And then I will talk about the perhaps somewhat clickbaity title of this video, the fact that Diamond and I are going to Texas, and then we will have your questions, comments, and feedback in hashtag askstuffandthings. So let's get into it. All right, gang, so what can you look forward to on Stuff and Things Working and Stuff and Things Plays? My 3 channels that you should be subscribed to. You should subscribe to all of those channels. Watch all the videos, like all the videos, leave comments on all the videos, all that good stuff. First of all, on Stuff and Things, we will have the first episode in what might be a series. We'll see how the first episode goes of the Stuff and Things Book Club. I read All the Pretty Horses about a month ago or so, and I do a little video discussing that book. For those of you who want to follow along, you should read All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy and follow along. You can join the discussion in the comments section of that video. It would be really cool to hear your opinions on that book. The next book, since I already recorded that video, the next book that we will be doing is The Crossing, also by Cormac McCarthy and also part of the Border trilogy, the second book in the Border trilogy. I just have to say, to give you a little preview, I really enjoyed All the Pretty Horses. I've liked everything that I've read by Cormac McCarthy, but I'm really enjoying The Crossing. It's almost as if in another life I wrote this book, and that sounds very self-aggrandizing. I'm not saying I could write anything as good as Cormac McCarthy, but just the themes explored, the plot, the characters, it's so much as though it was taken out of my own mind. It's really strange, and I really love this book so far. It is filled with just a creeping dread all of the time, but that just seems to be kind of what Cormac McCarthy does. But yeah, if you want to take part in the next Stuff and Things book club, you should read The Crossing by Cormac McCarthy as well. Then, we're going to be getting into some scheduling and stuff, but the next video on Stuff and Things will be the first impressions video for Seattle Pipe Club Down Yonder. So be sure to check that out when it drops. Then on Working on Monday at 6 a.m. Pacific, we will have Working episode 11. I think I've settled into doing 2 episodes of Working a month, or basically every other week, and then maybe throwing a short in there every once in a while as well. I just can't do a full episode of Working every single Monday. It's just not gonna happen. It's impossible, but this one is really cool. It's showing, we have a contract with a, what would you call that? A program, I guess, in which it's kind of government funded, but people can get low interest loans if they have good credit history, and they have to help build their house. And we have the contract to do all the concrete work for the houses. So we do the footings, the foundations, the garage slabs, the driveways, sidewalks, all that stuff. And it's interesting because they'll have a development where they're doing a group of about 8 or 9 houses, and we just bam, 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 knock these foundations out. So you'll be able to see me setting up a bunch of these footings for these houses. Pretty interesting stuff, some good time-lapse things going on there. And then on Stuff and Things Plays, the Tears of the Kingdom series is continues to be an astonishing game. I'm just grinning the whole time I'm playing it, at least maybe internally grinning the entire time I'm playing it. It's just absolutely fantastic. So check that series out on Stuff and Things Plays if you haven't already. Well, as you could see in the title of this video, the Pacific Northwest has finally wore us down, and we are going to Texas for a vacation. For a weekend, basically, but we're gonna be going to Austin, Texas, and the surrounding environs, and it's gonna be fun. We're both basically going there for a festival, film festival, and we went last year, and it was a lot of fun. When we go this year, it's going to be, I think it's like 100 degrees now in Austin, or over 100 degrees. It looks like it's going to cool down a bit by the time we get there and be in the 90s, maybe mid to high 90s. but I'll deal with that. It's fine. But anyway, I'm looking forward to going, and basically what I wanted to discuss on this episode is stuff to do in Austin. When we went last time, we went to the Bullock Museum. I think it was like a Texas Heritage Museum. That was very interesting, a lot of cool stuff about Texas history. We had some barbecue at Terry Black's, which was absolutely delicious. Obviously kind of a touristy thing and very hyped up, but it was very, very good. Pretty expensive, but good. Everyone said that if we wanted to go swimming, we should go to Barton's Springs Pool, which we did, and it was kind of fascinating because basically it was a swimming hole that had been around since the 20s, I think. But it's basically like this weird amphitheater sort of thing where you have these big grass embankments and then this kind of man-made pool where these different springs gather together, all concrete-sided. And it was just so packed with people and so weird. It was kind of like swimming in an aquarium or something. So recommendations. Museums to go to. We're curious about other museums that are worth checking out in Austin. A better place to swim that's just kind of more natural and maybe not so crazily crowded as the Barton Springs Pool was. Other barbecue joints, places that might be better than Terry Black's. And just generally cool things to do in and around Austin. We're not going to have a ton of extra time because we're basically following a schedule of this event we're going to. And, you know, I have to work, she has to work, so we're not taking a bunch of time off to just explore Austin. But we would love recommendations from people who live in the Austin area, especially like maybe a good Mexican food place. We went to an amazing place when we were there last time. I think I just found it through Yelp reviews or something, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was really cool. But just other cool things that we should see while we're in Austin. And because we're going to Austin, I'm going to be dark for a week. So we are leaving next weekend. So you have this Sunday video, and everything that I post is going on Patreon as well, at least for Stuff and Things. So this Sunday video is going to be available ad-free on Patreon if you're a Patreon supporter. It'll post at the same time as it normally posts on YouTube. But then the Wednesday video, the SAT Book Club video, that posts Monday on Patreon ad-free. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you can see that early and ad-free. But then, so next week, normal videos. The week after, since I'm going to be gone during the weekend, I won't have time to do my videos. There will not be a Sunday Stuff and Things. Might do a quick little update, but not a normal Sunday Stuff and Things. And there will not be a Wednesday video. I'm going to go dark on Stuff and Things plays as well that week. So basically, one whole week. What are the dates here? You know, I've got to have a break every once in a while. Hope you guys understand. So the week beginning Monday, September 18th, there will be no videos on Stuff and Things, Working, and Stuff and Things plays. But then when we come back, we will have our Sunday video on September 24th. We'll have the early Patreon video on Monday, and then the normal YouTube video on Wednesday, and all the other stuff will be back. I'm not sure if I'll have a Working on the 25th or not. I'll have to look into that. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to record something and edit that before we leave. But basically, we'll just be dark from the 18th through the 23rd of September. Hopefully you will forgive me for taking a little break from making videos, but we're going to Texas and I want to be able to have fun and not have to worry about posting things while we're there. Anyway, I would love to have your recommendations for our Texas trip. Austin was cool. It wasn't exactly what I thought it would be. Just, you think of Texas and you think of dry, you think of deserty. You don't really think of hilly either. And Austin was very hilly and very green. It was very hot because we were there in September last year as well. But yeah, I would just love to know some cool things to do in and around Austin. Museums, restaurants, maybe some cool outdoor things, a place to go swimming. Let me know in the comments below. We're crowdsourcing this trip. Could be fun. Now, gang, it is time for hashtag askstuffandthings. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, tweet at SAT Bradley with the hashtag askstuffandthings, and I will do my best to answer your question on the next Sunday Stuff and Things. If you are a Patreon supporter, you can write to me via Patreon and go right to the front of the line. You can hit that super thanks button under this video and go right to the front of the line, or you can leave comments, questions, and feedback in the comment section of my YouTube videos. Now, I have 2 copies of your questions, comments, and feedback because my printer is running out of ink and I did not have time to go get more ink. So on some of these, I can read some of the lines and then not others, and then vice versa. So I'm gonna have to kind of combine these 2 and see if I can make out these questions, comments, and feedback. So here we go. We're gonna start out via Twitter. This is gonna be tough, gang. @_Brandon Nye, who asks, do you grow any peppers? Very specific. Or have a garden? On a side note, I got my first Costello finally, a 55 4K bent pot, courtesy of your influence, and I'm amazed. Thank you so much for writing in, Brandon. No, I don't grow any peppers. I'm curious as to know why you asked specifically about peppers, but no, I don't have a garden. I don't grow anything. I don't think I really ever have grown anything other than just some houseplants. And then, yeah, congratulations on that Shape 55. It's a beautiful jutting forward. It's like a man with a very strong jaw jutting forward. I love that Shape 55 pot with Costello. That's one of my favorite pipes that I own. And congratulations on getting one of your own. Next, via YouTube. Okay, so I can't read this name here. Hopefully I will here. Oh boy. I think it's @Andreas maybe Andreas something 038. Sorry, I can't get the name there. Oh boy. Hey Bradley, hope you are well. Quick question. Hope is not a stupid one. There are no stupid questions. I have an open tin of Elizabethan that is completely dried. I know this will affect the flavor of the tea, but is it safe to S? I've heard that dried tea is too harsh on the lungs. I think that's it. Thank you very much. Keep up the great work. First of all, you shouldn't be inhaling pipe tea in general. So bear that in mind. If a blend is way too dry, and obviously this is all subjective, I don't know what you mean by way too dry. What I mean by too dry might not be the same thing as what you mean. If it's just dust, it's pretty much past saving and you're not gonna really be able to do anything with it. If it's too dry, if it's really crispy, you can still S it, it'll be harsher, it'll burn too quickly, it won't be a good experience. You can try to rehydrate it. What I do if I have to do that is get an airtight jar, like a canning jar, and I get those little humidifier buttons that you just soak in water and you pop it into the blend, you leave it in that airtight jar, and usually it can rehydrate that. You can also use a Tupperware container, wet a paper towel, put it in there, don't have it directly touching the tea that's in there. It is possible to rehydrate, but if you S it when it's way too dry, it won't be a very good experience. Next, we have some feedback from last week's Sunday Stuff and Things. This is from @CheesyBacon. I appreciate the switch to 4K as I watch most of your videos on an 80-inch 4K TV. Wow. Just don't go switching to Apple for an editing rig. Thank you, Cheesy Bacon. Yes, and like I mentioned, I am recording in 4K, editing in a 1080p timeline, and then exporting in 1080p, but you're getting more quality. I've noticed, I've done all these experiments. If I record in 1080p, edit in 1080p, and export in 1080p, it looks like 1080p. If I record in 4K, edit in 1080p, and export in 1080p, it looks better than the original if I had just recorded it in 1080p, if that makes sense. But what I'm hoping is when I eventually upgrade my editing workstation that I will be able to export in 480 in 4K as well. It just takes so long and my computer just doesn't like doing that right now. But I want to keep upping that because it makes a difference and it looks better. I know some people said, oh, it doesn't matter what your videos look like, but it matters to me. I like them to look good. Next, from @Church Ether Music 4750. I've been watching you for many years. Thank you. And always look forward to your content. There is not much insensitive. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. Again, I can hardly read this. There's not much incentive for Patreon for me as I do YouTube Premium, other than feeling good for supporting you. Watching, commenting, and liking your videos might not be much, but it's something right. I'll consider Patreon, bud. It's not much, it's a lot, and I really appreciate people liking, subscribing, interacting with the content, leaving me feedback. All that stuff is great. And even if you just watch, and if I never hear from you, that's great too. So don't feel any pressure for the Patreon. We do have a goal to get the $105 supporters on Patreon, but don't worry if you can't do it. Next, from @TimDelphi6370. The book club is a great idea. What's better than a pipe with a book? Still trying to squeeze the Odyssey, oh boy, into my schedule. I'm reading, anyway. With the fam, house, sports, work, there's minimal time for video games, but I have to keep up on the reading. Good brain food. Yeah, I think if you had to pick between playing video games or reading, I'd probably do the reading. I don't always make that choice, but usually the only time I play games is when I'm recording episodes for Stuff and Things Plays, so yeah. Reading is good, and the Odyssey and the Iliad were amazing, especially the Odyssey. I absolutely love that experience of reading those, so I definitely recommend it. Next, we have some feedback from the Cult Blood Red Moon review. This is from @JoshStivers9042. I don't hate this. Is high praise coming from you about an aromatic. That is true, and if you guys haven't watched that review of Cult Blood Red Moon, you should check it out. We've got a lot of feedback on that one. Next, from @Manitoa1. I may have to try this. My first pipe essing experience was with a cherry aromatic, but I haven't touched any aromatic in decades. If you don't hate it, it may even be good. Yes, very true. So coming from me, someone who doesn't like aromatics basically as a rule, the fact that I didn't mind Cult Blood Red Moon might mean that you really will enjoy it. Next, from @Arnau Gironelli, 7572. Sorry, I'm really having trouble reading any of these things because of my printer. Now that was amusing to watch. For you, a 100% non-aromatic blend person, to say that Blood Red Moon is, quote, not bad is the best compliment I could imagine. The most positive review of a blend ever made for sure. Ha 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 ha. And finally, from @BimScootney1242. This is the best cherry I have tried. Really smooth and not overwhelming. I like it in a cob. Yeah, and there are tons of people loving or talking about how much they like Blood Red Moon, but a lot of people mention Selim's Black as something I should try, and that's definitely something that's on my radar, so stay tuned. We may be trying that soon. But now, gang, it is time for the very best part of the show, and that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. Remember, if you would like to support the channels on Patreon, there is a link in the description box below, and it would be much appreciated. We are having a drive for $105 supporters right now, and it just helps so much pay for the outlays that I have to put into making these videos, the time, the effort, all that good stuff, the camera, the lights, everything that I use to make these videos. You guys are a part of that. So every week we like to shout out those who support the channels at $25 or more a month. People like Glenn Dunnington, Jason Buckner, MDoftheNorth, David Gaudreau, Finn O'Hagan, Ryan McFadin, Arcturus, Ashes of the Phoenix, and Jonathon Proctor. And of course, the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month, people like Bob Magee. And we will never forget our Hall of Fame member and dearly departed friend, Peter Straub. Gang, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for, well, I don't have the actual book, but the book club of All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy, premiering early on Patreon this Monday, and then on the normal time on Wednesday on YouTube. We have the Working episode 11 premiering on Monday on YouTube at 6 a.m. Pacific, and then the Tears of the Kingdom series every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Stuff and Things Plays. Seahawks, opening weekend today. As you're watching this, maybe, yeah, I think it starts at 1 o'clock. I'll be watching that game. Hopefully you guys enjoy opening weekend of the NFL. If you're into that, we are going to have a fun and exciting trip to Austin. Please let us know about your recommendations for stuff to do in Austin. But until next time, until we meet again, I guess in 2 weeks' time, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. I'll see you later. See you, gang.